We're turning our attention now to the payments market in Australia and New Zealand, where ANZ is a key player.
The bank is boosting payment certainty with its Confirmation of Payee service, which was launched in July this year to help combat fraud and verify recipient identity.
And to look at this in more detail, we're joined by Vasic, Managing Director Transaction Banking at ANZ, and Leigh Mahoney, Head of Wholesale Digital at ANZ. Welcome to both of you. So to kick us off, I'll start with Lisa, if I may. In a 24/7 world of payment systems, how do you and the team at ANZ think about shaping the payments landscape?
Like any payments infrastructure, the network effect is the most important thing that we can do. And the focus for many of the geographies' real-time payments infrastructure has first been around peer-to-peer payments. But we know for that to be really embedded across the ecosystem, you need to engage both financial institutions and corporate customers into that real-time payments. ANZ, as the largest institutional bank in Australia, has played a very key role around how do we make sure that we can educate and enable our institutional and corporate customers to be those participants in the real-time payments network. So at ANZ, we're very much focused around what we call the digital transition. How do we help our corporates go from legacy payment infrastructure into an adopting real-time payment infrastructure in the use cases that matter most to their business?
And staying with you, Lisa, what are your observations on the pace at which clients are actually moving from legacy to contemporary payment options? What are you seeing there?
The Confirmation of Payee is actually a really important milestone because pace sometimes equals fraud, and corporates also have gone from an environment where batch, end of day, cut-off times have been architected into the way that they operate. Moving into a real-time payments infrastructure, you are actually now looking at an environment that does not have batch cut-offs and end-of-day processing. So the important role for banks to play is how do we provide the on and off-ramp rails to help them with that transition. And at ANZ, we've been very much focused around how do we take some of the legacy infrastructure, such as batch, and overlay that into the real-time payments infrastructure so customers can have the best of both worlds. And that's a really important part around the adoption phase, is because it's not just about how do you embed real-time payments into e-commerce propositions, but interestingly, we're seeing customers think about it in terms of contingency, i.e. payroll. If they have an issue that they go down with providing payroll services, that they know that they can call ANZ and we can look to actually drop them from their traditional ACH service into a real-time payment service. And so it's those things when you're thinking outside of the box. It's not just about the payment destination, but it's the use case that actually provides value to our customers' business and helping them choose the right payment infrastructure for the use case that supports their business.
And faster payments also means faster fraud. Right, and we talked about Confirmation of Payee earlier. I think this is really important. This is helping customers be very certain about who they're paying. Across the institutional landscape, our customers are mostly victims of email fraud or invoice fraud, and being able to more confidently make payments and know who you're paying as opposed to think that you know who you're paying has really helped us on this faster payments journey.
You touched on confidence there, Leigh. We've spoken about increasing client expectations when it comes to payments. How is ANZ working to meet these expectations at the moment? What is the bank's proposition in the Australian market now, and what will it be there in the future?
Well, you know, I think that that one of the challenges that we've had is helping customers go from a batch type situation into a faster payments environment. We've had to manufacture new products for customers to meet their demand. I mean, again, as we're moving into a faster real-time world, making payments in real time means that you have to do other things in real time as well. Real-time support. Real-time advice of outage, real-time assisting with customers when they've got that payroll problem that we've talked about. And so we've seen customers increase the velocity at which they're moving from batch-type environments to real-time environments. Over the last 12 months, we've had an 18% increase in our customers moving into the integrated ERP type arrangement. And that means that we can help our customers in real time with better solutions and with better notifications and observability when things go wrong.
And if I can just add one important kind of use case to there in Australia, what's unique compared to some of the other environments, the Australian real-time payment system is one for one, single debit, single credit. That doesn't work for a lot of corporates because they're used to a single debit and multiple credits. But we've introduced something called Pay 2, which is a request to pay service in Australia. And what that means is that historically when customers have withdrawn, used direct debit rails, you then get the information either at the end of the day or the start of the next day. With request to pay services, our large corporate customers can get instantaneous information about the validity of that payment and the application of that payment to either the service or the invoice that they need to actually pay. That's a game changer. Because that means that our customers have certainty, they also have zero reconciliation, and they have accelerated cash flow. So this is now about translating upgrades in payments infrastructure to real benefits for our customers around cash flow, around reconciliation, and importantly around their end customer experience.
And you can't do that. You can't do that with batch. You have to do it with newer technologies such as APIs so that you can converse with your customer in real time or with their systems in real time. And this is a really important factor for us. And we've had to spend a lot of time and effort in making sure that the developers that are building customer solutions in our customers have a great experience with us as well. So we've concentrated on building a great developer portal to enable them to integrate to us with ease and with pace.
Now, I'd love to get both of your thoughts on this next one. If we look to the next 5 years, what's one key trend or innovation that you think will really shake up the payments industry? And Lisa, why don't you kick things off for us?
That's like trying to pick a favourite child. So
I
will kind of rule the line under that one. I think it's going to be a multiple of different things. And we talked about the request to pay service. That, in our view, is going to be a game changer. BCG recently released a report talking about almost a 40% increase in account-to-account payments. And again, real-time payment rails really facilitate optionality and choice. And I think from a bank's perspective, the most important thing we can provide to our customers is choice. Different payment services will support different use cases. And again, we just want to make sure that our customers can actually think about that and be nuanced around the different customer cohort or customer set they want to engage with and find the right application to do that. The next 5 years is really important. So in Australia, we've got a couple of major milestones happening. In 2027-28, our cheques will be decommissioned. Now, our counterparts in New Zealand, Australia and New Zealand, we love our rivalry, actually went through that process in 2021 and they've actually been cheque-free for some time now. Australia is now going down that same pathway. The bigger change, because given cheques are such a small percentage of our overall payments, is actually the decommissioning of our old ACH system. And that's a significant change, particularly for our corporates, because that's where they push the bulk of their volume through. It's where their batch and where their ERPs are integrated. Today, they have 18 characters of alphanumeric information, and then we are going to a natively real-time payment system that has been configured on the ISO standards. It's a game changer in terms of the type of data richness that corporates will be able to obtain, but also these services that we talked about, including the request to pay service, which in Australia we call Pay 2, that'll really provide our customers with choice. But the important thing, it's not just always about being additive to the payments landscape, because that creates complexity. By the industry actually very clearly signalling that we are going to decommission our cheques and decommission our historical 1970s retro ACH system, it also provides simplification in the payments landscape to really help corporates lean in and provide the productivity and the end customer outcome benefits I'd like to see.
Yeah, I think from a digital channels perspective, we'll move our channels from being reactive to proactive. That'll be using things like agentic AI, and our channels will go from point and click to conversational. Right? And I think this is really important. And as we start to embed those technologies and also use our data better, it'll help our customers manage and grow their business and make far better decisions than they do today.
So big thank you for joining us here in the Sibos studio. And always great to see some fellow Aussies here in Frankfurt. That was Lisa Vasic, Managing Director, Transaction Banking at ANZ, and Leigh Mahoney, Head of Wholesale Digital at ANZ.